And Hong Kong has always struck me like that, an unfinished work in progress, constantly changing, constantly dissatisfied with itself, wanting to do things better, and pulling down something that was built 20 years ago because it's not big enough, or, you know, it's not high enough. It's that kind of daring do. It's extraordinary. A city in transition. You know, reading the earliest accounts of Hong Kong, some of the very first travellers to come through here would remark on the noise and bustle of this place. They'd arrive on the then narrow waterfront where Queen's Road is now, and remark on the noise of the granite blocks being chiselled and people rushing everywhere with, you know, rickshaws and poles and granite chips, and so much happening all about them. It was just ceaseless activity, and it's never really finished. It's always been like that. And you've only got to take a tram ride from, you know, Kennedy Town to the other end of the island to realize this place is non-stop go.
And so are you promoting the Made in Hong Kong label?
Yes, which is an easy thing to do because we were making a name for ourselves. We, at that stage, were doing everything that China is doing now, you know, on a bigger scale, of course. But anything was possible. Manufacturers would come here with the most ridiculous requirements, and they would find people here willing to meet those deadlines.
And at that time, when you were working in the civil service, you were living in the New Territories, which I suppose was quite unusual.
Yes, out of Clearwater Bay.
Can you tell me about what that was like, your home down?
Well, it was a little bit like being back in Malaya, because it was a pastoral landscape. Behind my high-rise block at Silver Strand Estate, there were terraced rice fields, which were still being farmed. So you could walk through these rice fields to the beach. That was just the other side of Shaw Studios, where Run Shaw was still in charge of his empire. And you could, you know, 10 minutes away, you could walk into Shaw City. And Run was a very good friend. He became more so when he became chairman of the Hong Kong Arts Festival, and I was working to promote that, and I was on the committee, and he would come and open events, and he was very accessible. And I used to get to his special film showings when he had some visiting actor or actress in town. He would organize a little dinner party, and I got to meet people like Elizabeth Taylor and so on, you know.
What was Elizabeth Taylor like?
She was charming, of course, but she was going through her fat stage at that stage. I think probably immediately after her first divorce from Richard Burton, and she was a bit depressed, but very engaging. I never actually got to talk to her myself, but I was next to her in the queue at the buffet table,